and welcome to Total Sports Talk. I'm Anthony.
And I am Eric.
Yeah, his butt's a little sore right now. Eating some crow, bro.
Just wait till I get done with your team, so shut up.
Oh, what smack can you possibly be talking? All right. Before
I can talk smack. Let's talk about the all-time record. Oh,
Hey, Eric, we don't speak of such monstrosities at the moment, okay?
right. Sorry. Congratulations, though, on your second win in the last 7 meetings.
Yeah, that's about right, right? Jesus. And that's par for the course with these friggin' teams. All right. Eric, you covered a couple games on the podcast. Did you want to cover those here, or did you want to cover those on the podcast?
We'll do that on the podcast.
Okay, fair enough. So let's talk about what we talked about, which was the Bears and the Rams. So all-time series is now the Rams have 36 wins, the Bears have and 3 ties.
I think it's like 56 or 54, so somewhere in the 50s.
53 to 37, yeah. It's a little embarrassing. All right. Go ahead and go first.
Oh, well, you want me to go first? All right. Well, let me just start out by saying this. I could tell you guys were going to win after the second drive by the Bears.
Yeah, that was rough.
As much as I want to talk about, I mean, I have to make points, and I don't know if I can hit on every single one. However, here's what I saw with the Bears to start out. They had a good drive to start the game. They got in field goal range, and wouldn't you know it, a missed field goal. Okay, fine, whatever. Chuck it up, first drive, great. Todd Gurley, hey, here you go, Bears. I'm going to give you the ball right back. Okay, great. Then you go forward on 4th and 9. You're throwing it on 3rd and 9. So I think you really might want to try like a little screen pass instead of a throw downfield. Okay, you don't go for the field goal. Tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Another turnover by the Rams. They're trying to give the game to the Bears.
Yeah.
I was not impressed with the Rams in the first half except for one scenario, and that was our offensive line. I thought their offensive line played outstanding, and they didn't even get Goff dirty, which, in my opinion, was bad on the Bears D. Like, where are you getting the pressure from? You're not getting any pressure. Now, I will say this. The Rams came out with a good game plan and ran right down the Bears' throats in the first half. The Bears finally changed it up. I don't know why. It took a half to change things up. You should be able to change things up on the fly. Okay? If you knew what was working and what wasn't, change it up. No excuse. So I put some of that on Pagano, the Bears' defensive coordinator. Once they changed their defense, and actually it was pointed out by Collinsworth quite a bit, when they went to a 6-1D, Gurley didn't have much place to run. Neither did Brown. Brown didn't have much place to run until he scored the touchdown to ice the game away late in the game. But again, the offensive line did wonders. I was like, man, I really wish Havenstein was out here.
Yeah. I bet you were. I bet you were.
But no, I mean, Goff completed 11 passes. He could have easily had 3 picks on the day.
Yeah.
Kyle Fuller missed one. If you want to say up a little bit more, Khalil Mack would have had one. I just wanted to know where the Bears were all day. Now, you want to go on the other side of the ball, I'll tell you this much. That Rams front line was just pushing the Bears defense back and back. The Bears offensive line back and back and back, and they were doing a great job. And I thought Aaron Donald, even though he was getting penetration, he was just missing there. You knew he was going to get there, and I think he got there twice, at least twice, on the Bears quarterback. So when I'm watching the game, it was funny because they're showing replays, and in the first half, I swear the Bears were taking jabs at Donald's jaw. I swear they were swinging haymakers at Donald's face. Now I know they weren't, but it just looked like it the way the Bears' hands were going up on the offensive line, and they were connecting with Donald. To the on the like on the jaw, like a boxer would.
Yeah.
So it was just funny to watch. But man, correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear, and you heard one of the Rams coaches yelling down, "That's a false start. That's a false start." It looked to me the Bears were false starting at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
In the first half, and they weren't calling it for some reason. I was like, "Why aren't they calling it? It's a false start." And I could see it on TV. But okay, fine. Give a break to the Bears. Fine, they need all the breaks they can get. Great, okay. They still were unable to cash in. Okay. To me, the biggest problems for the Bears was coaching, play calling, wide receiver drops, and no penetration as far as the run game goes. And I thought Trubisky was one of the least of our problems, and I could care less about the kicker. You know what? If I trot my kicker out there 6 times and he misses 6, guess what? Suck it up, man. Seriously, suck it up because that's your job.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, Pinheiro missed 2 kicks. Whatever. Fine. Not like a kicker has never missed before. Somebody said, "Oh, I missed Robbie Gould." Yeah, him and his 13 for 20 field goal kicking, and he's missed the last 2 games. Yeah, he'd be great on the Bears right now, sitting out 2 games, because you're going to sign somebody off the street anyways.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to hear it. Be smart, okay? Now, I know, let's get into Mitchell Trubisky. He missed a touchdown. He could have put a little bit more air under the ball to Anthony Miller. He could have. He did. Listen, not every quarterback's perfect. I get it. Okay? Peyton Manning was never perfect, especially his first year. He got better. Tom Brady doesn't always throw the perfect throw. Okay, I'm mentioning guys who are, in their prime or in their 40s or are retired. So let's take a step back. I've seen Patrick Mahomes overthrow guys. Deshaun Watson had a butt game yesterday. Okay, so it's not like he was on point. So they go through this. I understand that. I didn't think that Trubisky was the reason the Bears lost yesterday. Now, when you go into look at when he got injured on the blocker stack. Okay, whatever, fine. That's what he said. He got injured on the blocker stack, and he's like, "Oh, I got a knee to the back and into the hip area." Okay, man, I'll tell you what, you would never know that he was injured on the first drive in their first drive after halftime, because the Bears looked like all world beaters, like a team that couldn't be stopped, and they were hitting on all cylinders. It's like, oh wow, this is great. Too bad it couldn't happen more times than once a game. and so Terry Cohen did a great job getting his feet in bounds, and I was like, well, this could be a game. It could be 10-10. It could be 13-10 Bears.
Yeah.
If Pinheiro does not miss those kicks. But alas, okay, well, the Rams aren't blowing us out. What I'm seeing is the defense has adjusted. They're keeping themselves in the game. So let's see what happens. If you guys watch, and I'm telling you right now, if you guys watch and see the interception by Trubisky, it is not on him. Anthony Miller was supposed to go toward the sideline. Anthony Miller stopped, reached, kicked the ball up in the air, and that's why the ball was picked. Yeah. Bad read on the wide receiver. Miller dropped a couple. Gabriel dropped a couple. I even joked as my wife and I were watching the game. I'm like, man, my wife's bigger. She could have caught that. She just laughed. She's like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? It's just like, well, you're taller than him. But man, I never. Allen Robinson as well. He had a crucial drop in a situation, and he had beaten Ramsey. He just flat out dropped it. So Trubisky was put the ball on target, not all the time. I will I will say he didn't put it on all the time. I mean, he hit Jalen Ramsey in the butt on one throw. Yeah. I mean, hey, great, awesome. He hit Ramsey in the butt. He should have fell down and acted like he was paralyzed or something. But that's what I saw the Bears. Now with the injury, I'm sorry. But he comes out of the game on the last series. Dude, suck it up. And then be like, yeah, I was playing hurt all the second half. I had a hip pointer. I felt good. Started getting tight. I wanted to finish the game. I thought that, we still had a chance with 3 minutes to go, down 10. Dude, you're not going to score 10 freaking points in 3 minutes. You don't have the offense to do so. Because the Bears lack a reliable tight end. The Bears lack a number 2 wide receiver. The Bears lack a lot of things. Now let's get to the Rams really quick. I thought Gurley was going to go over 100 yards this week yesterday, and I thought he was running really good. Still running a little timid. When he coughed up the fumble on the first drive or the first carry, I was like, oh, here we go again. He just doesn't want to face the Bears defense. And but you know what? He recovered and he got himself back on track. And he looked good in the first half. Second half, the Bears did what they had to do to clamp down. And, Gurley rushed for 97 yards, which actually was tied for a season high from week 1 against Carolina. I'm sure he would have liked to get over 100 and get that second touchdown, but Malcolm Brown came in and took it. Goff, the Rams came in with a really good game plan. They're like, I guess we're going to run it down the Bears' throats. They're missing Hicks. Which basically neutralized Mac.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, he only completed 11 passes. I thought statistically, and even just the eye test, and we've talked about the eye test numerous times, Anthony, that Goff, or that in this game in particular, I thought Trubisky outplayed Goff. Now, there were a few Goff throws that I really liked that he had a really good touch on, and that was the deep ball to Cooper Kupp. It was a deep ball to Josh Reynolds, even though it was called back because Whitworth wasn't being covered by a wide receiver or whoever. I thought that was a little ticky-tacky, but hey, I'll take it. And then there was another one to Josh Reynolds on the side. So I thought there were 3 really good passes, and he threw some screen passes too. So I wasn't impressed with Jared Goff yesterday. The Rams did what they had to do to win the game. They're still in the playoff hunt. I hate saying this, but I don't think you're getting it. They're 2 games behind Minnesota. It's going to be tough. I mean, you basically have to win out with maybe 1 loss to go. Or 1 more loss, I should say. If this game were played last year in LA, I think we would have got the game we all would have wanted.
Yeah.
The last year's game was offensive turnovers and defense ridden. This game was here's one big play. Here's a team who can't move on offense. Quarterback can't do anything. I don't know.
I'm with you.
I want to see both teams at full strength. That's what I really want.
I'm with you. Look, here's my takeaway. Okay. I agree Goff didn't look good in this game. He had a few passes where he looked really good, and some people might be like, Anthony, I disagree. I thought he looked, even on his limited throws, I thought he looked better this week than he did in the past. And you're entitled to that opinion. But for my eye test, I didn't walk away impressed. I was glad about 3 things. The deep ball is back. The accuracy on the deep ball is back, which was from last year. And that I'm very pleased with. But the short game is an unmitigated disaster. Now, I'm not making excuses for Goff. He didn't play well. But you got 2 rookies on the right side. You got a guard playing center. And Lord knows what you got playing the left guard. And then old man Whitworth at right tackle. Or left tackle. So he could trust Whitworth. But this kid from Cleveland, he still doesn't know about. These two rookies, none of us knew about. Yeah, the running game looked good. You see 6 guys in the box, and you've been hammered all year long with that look. I mean, Jared Goff has been hit double the amount of the number 2 guy in the league. If you look at all the quarterbacks in the NFL, I think it's Andy Dalton is number 2. Jared Goff is doubled in hits and hurries this year. He's been hurried on 42% of his throws, and he's been hurried on 88% of his throws, and he's been hit, no, other way around. Let me start over. He's been hurried on 42% of his throws. He's been hit 88% of the time on his dropbacks. So there's going to be some shell shock going on. I'm not expecting Goff to really get out of this funk until he has a few more weeks like this one. Now, if this O-line continues to play as well as it did against the Bears, and that's no joke, Chicago's D, I know they didn't have Hicks. That's a real D now. Okay, that wasn't the Cincinnati Bengals defense that was up against. Okay, I was impressed with the way those 2 rookies played on the right side of the line. I think the Rams have their offensive line of the future if this play continues. It's a big if. And we got a big test on Monday night at Baltimore. Big test. I don't know that that's a winnable game. Just shooting straight with you guys out there in LA, in La La Land. Okay? Part of the Ramily, I'm telling you, I don't know how we win that game on paper, statistically, any matrix you want to use. Aaron Donald's going to have the game of a lifetime, and those 2 offensive linemen are going to have to carry that side of the line all the way to the end zone on multiple occasions. So I'm pumping the brakes on this group till I see what they look like after Thanksgiving. We go to Arizona. If they look good against Arizona, and this game coming up on Monday night is a mulligan, I'm not even going to count it against them. As far as I'm concerned, these guys got a bye week, and then we'll see what they do against Arizona. Because that's a more realistic measuring stick than the Baltimore Ravens. But I liked what I saw. I liked that Gurley ran with an attitude. And I love the fact that Sean McVay, a guy that I've been ridiculing, it takes a set of cast iron nuts to go, you know what? Frig it. We're not last year's team. We've been practicing all camp long with last year and this year's offense, but we can't run it. So we're going to go to 1980s football. We're going to line up under center with an I formation. We're going to shove it down people's throat, and we're going to play action pass that way with no smoke and mirrors. Goff's back is going to be to his own end zone, and his front on the play action is going to be facing the defense so we can actually see the plays develop downfield. There was a lot of modifications to McVay's offense. McVay made that adjustment, and I tip my hat and give credit where credit's due, because that was John Robinson's offense from 1988 that we saw in this game, not Sean McVay from 2018. So I'm happy about that because it needed to be done. What you were doing wasn't working, but it still takes a set of cast iron nuts to change that dramatically mid-year without a bye week, going up against arguably one of the best defenses you've seen all year to this point. So, and it worked. So I was really impressed with that front. Now, on the flip side, I don't know who this Long Jr. is for the Rams, number 25, but this kid can ball now. I think he's a better nickelback than Nickel Roby-Coleman. As a couple times he got his feet mixed up, clearly, trying to feel his oats out there. But I saw some guys I haven't seen before play last night, and they popped on the screen. Long Jr. and Josh Reynolds, I've seen him play before, but Josh Reynolds, in my opinion, has elevated himself to if Brandon Cooks retires, we still have 3 really talented wide receivers. This kid, every time I watch Josh Reynolds play, this kid is getting extra yardage on every play. It looks like he's going to get stopped. He gets 2 more yards. He reminds me of, huh?
He's a big body.
He's a big body, but he plays big. He reminds me of Stephen Baker of the New York Giants in the 80s and 90s. And if you don't know who Stephen Baker is, go watch Super Bowl 25, 3rd and 15. He catches the ball 3 yards downfield and makes 12 yards all on his own against Buffalo. It was an amazing play that gave the Giants an opportunity to win that game. Reynolds is a big body, but he knows how to use it. I was really impressed with him. I was really impressed.
He was getting extra yardage and getting first downs. Like, man, somebody stop this guy.
I know. And it's kind of been, that wasn't his MO last year. Last year, he kind of had the Torrey Holt catch the ball, go down. But it's like he found out what he should be doing. So he really popped for me. I was really impressed with him. Cooper Kupp, he looks like he's tired. I don't know what's going on. That rhythm is missing. So he looked really good on the one deep pass, and I think for him, it's got to be a timing issue too. Those linemen mess with wide receivers just as much as they mess with quarterbacks. So we'll see how that dynamic continues to reconnect over the next few weeks. But he's got to play better if we're going to beat Baltimore, if we're even going to be in that game against Baltimore. Another player for me another thing that really Taylor Rapp popped on screen last night too. But the thing that I was most pleased about is that Corey Littleton is finally starting to get the recognition. Multiple times last night, Al Michaels called this kid a superstar in the making. And I was really, really pleased about that. The Rams have some injuries on defense too now. I didn't see John Johnson at all last night. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's out. Be honest with you, I haven't looked at the injury report, but he's been missing. Okay? He definitely didn't play last night. If he did, he didn't play much. So I want to know what this dynamic's going to look like moving forward. But by and large, Eric, I was extremely pleased with the Rams' performance against a formidable defense. And they did what they should have done against a bad offense in Chicago. But to just end with this is the Rams' life if they do this right the rest of the year. They are going to be a slugfest, run it down your throat, 24, 27 points at the most, high water mark every week, play great defense, keep the score down, and get it. You can call it an ugly win, but for me, it was a thing of beauty. I haven't seen anything like this coming out of a Ram team in a long, long time, and I was thrilled to see it. So, kind of an old school smash mouth football game.
I will argue the point that the best player on the field last night was Johnny Hacker.
Yeah.
I mean, he flipped the field a few times, and it was funny because he's pounding punts into the end zone, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, dude, like, I know this is not you. And of course, like, he boomed another, but he hits 2 in a row in the end zone. I'm like, okay. I'm like, man, Tariq Cohen, get off the 5-yard line and just come forward and let it bounce. Like, you have a problem trying to catch punts when you don't need to be. And sure enough, like, the next one was out at the 20-yard line because he didn't put everything he had into it. And then the next punt after that
was the bomb.
He boomed the crap out of one because that was the one where Cooper Kupp fumbled, but the Rams recovered. That's the one they boomed. Cohen, for some reason, did not come up and catch the ball, and man, it bounced and put the Bears back within like the 10-yard line. And I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, come on.
Yeah.
And like, just catch the ball, and you never know what waste of that. If the offense isn't working, man, we need special teams and whatnot. And I watched the Bears special teams punt coverage very closely last night because they remember last year when Hecker threw a pass on them. And I'm like, I know they're waiting for it. They see it. They're waiting for it. And they played a punt safe to where they're not going to let Hecker throw the ball. And I was like, yeah, at least you know that one thing from last year. So I was like, kudos to the special teams coordinator for making them keep an eye out on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump ship to the 12th week. Is there a game that you want to cover, Eric?
Let me just say, for the upcoming week.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not doing the Bears and Rams, correct?
Well, we already did the Bears and Rams.
Well, I'm saying we're not going to preview. Are we previewing the Bears? Bears game, the Rams game?
We're going to preview those two.
Okay.
It won't be long. We're good. We're at 25 minutes. It should take 10. Go ahead.
Okay. The only other game that I really want to talk about actually is going to be Thursday night's game. I'm interested. This is a rematch. Colts Texans this time down in Houston. Texans coming off an embarrassing loss. The Colts will be without Marlon Mack because he fractured his hand, which I think is a big loss. But T.Y. Hilton may be back after missing 2-3 games. And Brissett looked really good yesterday against the Jaguars. And Jaguars, even though they put up 13 points, I thought Foles looked really good in his return to action as well. However, Deshaun Watson is coming off laying an egg against Baltimore. Wow. But the the Texans need to win this game to get back into a division title race. Because if they lose, they're done. They're going to be playing for a wild card. So Texans got to take advantage quick. I do look for them to bounce back. I do like the Texans at home, close, 24-21.
See, we're in the same boat. I don't know who to pick here. Look, I'll give you the score. It's going to be someone 17 and the other one 14. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a great game. I think there's a lot of film out there on how to stop Deshaun Watson. And, I mean, is Frank Reich going to be Coach of the Year this year? Because I think he should. To do what he's done after losing Andrew Luck in the third preseason game, it's been unbelievable.
Yeah, you'll have people clamoring that it should be Matt LaFleur, but yeah, I mean, you don't. If the Packers lost Aaron Rodgers due to early retirement and Tim Boyle came in, he wouldn't have the same record as they have now.
It's been unreal. He's an unbelievable coach. I really, Eric, genuinely don't know who wins Thursday night. I know it's in Houston. T.Y. Hilton comes back. He's the Texan killer.
Yes.
You know, I would lean Colts 17-14, but I agree. If Houston has an opportunity here now to wrap this show up, and I think they probably should. So, but I'm going to go with Colts because I think it's going to be a dogfight to the end because that's the way this division's kind of been going. So we'll see, but I'll go Colts. But realistically, I don't want to pick anyone. I think it's just going to be a tight game all the way through. The game that I want to cover is fascinating. Green Bay at San Francisco. And it's fascinating because I'm not impressed with the 49ers lately. Not nearly as impressed as I was in the beginning of the year. They played Arizona twice now, and they could barely put the lid on that football team. Does that mean Arizona's that much improved? Does that mean San Francisco overlooked them? You know, Garoppolo struggles in the beginning of games and turns it on late. They're going to be able to run the ball. Green Bay's a different animal. That's not Kyle Murray they're playing against. That's Aaron Rodgers, who's still a good quarterback. I don't know. I think this is going to be the 49ers' second loss. But I also don't think so. Like, Green Bay is such a farce. They went into San Diego and got their butts whooped by the Chargers. So, can I really expect them to go into San Francisco and beat the 49ers? And the answer is no. Because I think the Niners were overlooking Arizona for this game. I really do. So, I think the Niners rebound. It's going to be close early, but I think they're going to walk away out of there 34-24 over Green Bay. But it's going to be a tight game at halftime. Maybe even Green Bay has the lead. But I will find out if San Francisco was overlooking Arizona for this game or if the 49ers may be coming apart a little bit. Your take.
Watch one matchup, and that is Nick Bosa versus David Bakhtiari.
Yeah.
I am interested to see how that matchup plays out because Nick Bosa is very quick off the snap, off the ball. But I expect Green Bay to try to run in this game like they've been doing all year with Aaron Jones. I think in order for Green Bay's offense to get back on track, they still need to get back in rhythm with Devontae Adams and Rodgers. I don't know. Green Bay's defense is opportunistic, and Garoppolo against the Seahawks, he showed that he's willing to give the ball away. And so, I expect some pressure to come from Green Bay, but I expect the 49ers to regroup and get a big win over Green Bay. I think Green Bay is an overrated 8-2, to be honest with you. The reason why I say this is because the game against Carolina was their only complete game that I've seen this year.
Yeah.
I thought they played the Carolina game to a T. They got worked against the Chargers. They were giving wins by the refs, by Kirk Cousins, by an ineptitude Bears offense. Denver at that time when they played them stunk, and they played a good game this past weekend. But I'm just not impressed. But they are running the ball, and I think that's what they're going to continue to do. I don't think they're going to say, hey, Rodgers, throw it 40 times. I think it's say, here, Aaron Jones, lead the team, get first down, roll the clock. And I see the Niners win this game like 27-24, 27-23.
By the way, this is my NFC Championship game right here. This game. Okay, Eric. Giants at Bears. Go.
I want to know who starts for Bears. If Trubisky starts, Bears win 32, and if Daniel starts, the Bears lose 32. No, honestly, I don't think that. I don't think Daniel starts. I think they rehab Mitch. I think the Bears are going to have a tough time with Daniel Jones, but I think if they play the same type of defense against the Rams, that they can really contain Barkley. Barkley really hasn't broken out this year yet, and I'm hoping that it's not this weekend. But the Giants may still be without Sterling Shepard. The Giants may even be without Evan Ingram. The more people they're missing, the more it hurts them. So when the Bears win, they score like less than 17 points. So 16-10 Bears.
This is gonna pain you a little bit, but I think last night the Bears feel like what everyone's been saying is that they were eliminated from the playoffs last night. And to be honest with you, I'm looking for a little bit of a letdown. I expected the Bears to beat the Rams, and they didn't. And I know that the Rams are better than the Giants, but what I don't know is, are the Giants better than the Bears? I do know right now Daniel Jones is better than Trubisky. And I do know right now that Barkley is better than anything in the Bears backfield. But I also know how good Khalil Mack is. And those Bears on defense, they usually don't have two performances in a row like the one they had last night, especially in the running game. So I agree with you that this is going to be a low-scoring game. But I'm going to pick the Giants in this one for the same reason you just picked the Bears. I don't know that they can get over 20. And I think it's going to be 23-16 Giants. I just think there's going to be, whether it's a defensive touchdown, a fumble, a strip sack. I mean, this Bears season's gone south in a hurry. And the only reason I'm not making it a bigger margin is because it's in Chicago, and I think that the Bears will make a play. Now, I say this, but I want one caveat, and that is this. If the Bears get a special teams touchdown, they'll win in overtime. Or they'll win, I should say. That kicker is another problem. Is it in his head? Is he going to be fine? Everyone said the kicker was a problem, and then he went into Denver and won you the game. So he's capable. But I just don't like what I'm seeing out of Chicago offensively. out of their special teams, out of their coaching ranks. You know, benching Trubisky at the end of the game doesn't make a lot of sense. And then, okay, well, it made a lot of sense, but your reason made no sense. And then it's like, okay, so again, I don't know why these coaches feel like they need to lie to the fans as if we're so stupid we're going to believe it. You know, like Sean McVay saying, oh, that was a design play that we had for Blake Bortles. Shut up. No, it wasn't. He was hurt, and you had to put Bortles in. And that was the only play Bortles had practiced. Just stop it. And it's the same here. You didn't take him out because he had a hit pointer. You took him out because you knew he couldn't get you 10 points in 3 minutes, and maybe the other guy could provide a spark. Let's call a spade a spade. So I don't get it, but it doesn't look good for Chicago. Speaking of not looking good, let's go to the Monday night game. Baltimore at LA. I don't know. Look, the Rams had a hard time containing Mitchell Trubisky, who had a supposable hit pointer, right? He escaped the pocket and made some plays downfield that guys missed. Lamar Jackson is not going to miss a wide open wide receiver 10 yards behind our defense. He's not going to miss a wide receiver wide open on the sidelines. He's not going to throw it at the butt of Jalen Ramsey. If he runs, I don't know that we have anyone that can catch him. He's dynamic, he's explosive, and he's a third running back with a cannon. The Rams historically suck against mobile quarterbacks. And this is the most mobile quarterback they may have ever seen. Defensively speaking, Baltimore has some pieces. They have some speed. And even if the Rams are healthy, and they've got Woods back, and they've got, Kupp at full strength, and they've got Cooks back, and they're going to utilize Reynolds. Unless they plan on relying on that right side of the line, which I don't think they're going to do, this is going to be over by halftime. I'm going to say 41-10 Baltimore.
Wow.
Because I don't know where the answers are for the Rams.
Well, I will tell you where you're wrong somewhere. Lamar Jackson doesn't throw to his wide receivers. We all know that.
Right.
He throws to Mark Andrews, Hayden Hurst, and Nick Boyle. Three tight ends. And when he's not throwing one of those three guys, he's throwing to Mark Ingram, who scored 2 receiving touchdowns against Texas. I mean, everybody scored a touchdown except Hollywood Brown. But, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, where is Baltimore going to expose the Rams? And it's going to be on the screen passes. It's going to be those out and quick sideline passes to the tight ends, and Ramsey's probably going to be on Brown. So Brown's going to maybe have like 4 or 2 catches. He's not going to burn by Ramsey. Ramsey's not going to let him happen. Not going to let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And Baltimore's offensive line has been giving Jackson time to throw in the pocket, and he responded with 4 touchdown passes, and even though 2 of those were to Ingram, one was to Andrews and one was to Boyle. So they're giving him time, but you got Aaron Donald on the other side, okay? And say what you want about any offensive line, Aaron Donald can find a way through there. And if he finds a way through there, they need somebody to spy on Jackson and be able to, contain him to very short runs. Because if he gets out the open field, he's gone.
The only one that can do that is Corey Littleton, and I don't know that he's fast enough to compete with him. And he's fast.
And right. And he was trying to keep up with Cohen. He was getting burned a little bit here and there, but for the most part last night, he was pretty much staying stride for stride with Cohen. So he's got the speed when he wants it. So if he can do it with Cohen, he can do it with Jackson. I think Jackson's a little bit faster than Cohen, but I see this I see this being high scoring for the Ravens, and I'm not going to go a 31-point deficit, but I'm going to go 38-20 Baltimore.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Again, this is a mulligan for me. I think the Rams could very well go 10-6. I really believe that. I don't think 10-6 gets you in the playoffs in 2019, unless the Vikings lose a couple of games and Week 17, Pinheiro of the Bears does to the Vikings what he did to the Lions in 2000 and gets the Rams in that way. Just saying.
Yeah, it's possible.
But I will say this. It is funny, the parallels. 2001, Rams go to the Super Bowl. They lose to the Patriots. The next year, they go 7-9. 2018, the Rams go to the Super Bowl. They lose to New England. And this season, they're struggling. Now, they're 6-4. They were never 6-4 that year. The best they got was 5-5. And then they dropped to 5-6. And then 5-7, and then they got back to 7-7, and then they lost out. Actually, 6-7, and then they lost a few before they beat the Niners the final week of the regular season. So parallels are similar. Yeah, Niners that year went 12-4, by the way, just FYI. So interesting. All right, well, that's a wrap. I'm Anthony.
I'm Eric.
Horns up.
Bears are down.
Bears are down. Go Rams!
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, really quick, guys. Podcast will be aired. I'm going to do a show. Me and Eric are going to do a show. So those will be the two this week. I'm going to do the top 5 rivalries in Ram history, or the top 5 Ram rivalries, period. And then we'll do another podcast, me and Eric together, talking about a few things and recapping the games that Eric covered. So keep an eye open for that. And stay golden.